Moments before the eclipse, on a normal Monday afternoon, the sun was shining bright and everyone was prepping to look up. The eclipse was the main topic, and events around the world have formed together to witness this spectacular event. As the eclipse began its phases, the sky got darker and the world began to look up. I was in my car making business calls. I could care less about the eclipse as I was worried about getting out a credit card debt each and every month. As I sat in my car completely oblivious to the eclipse, I noticed everything around me became darker. I looked at my phone and wondered, why is it dark at 1:50 p.m.? A strange woman began to come towards my car and I immediately locked my door just in case. "Excuse me, sir, do you need your windows washed?" she asked. I was utterly confused. By this offer, and I declined it out of weirdness. Was this her side hustle? Offering to clean windows in a strange parking lot? This seemed awfully weird. The woman was going up to random cars and even washing windows of parked cars. Thank God the alarms didn't go off. She seemed harmless, but I wasn't sure. I no longer heard the hustle and bustle of the city. The streets became hollow, and all of a sudden, when full darkness occurred, no one was in sight. No one except this strange lady. I looked down at my phone to check messages and phone calls, and by the time I looked up, the woman was back at my window smiling with a rag. Except the rag seemed to be covered in dark red residue. I saw that it was blood smearing across. Moments later, crows surrounded my car and the woman ended up grabbing one and smashing it onto my car, killing it immediately. She then banged her head repeatedly on my driver's window, still smiling and asking if I want to wash. She started screaming as I just ignored her. She then bent over to grab something and it was a human head covered in blood, freshly cut. She used his head to clean my windows, causing all of my car windows to be covered in blood. I was in fear, trapped in darkness, surrounded by blood and death. I can hear the crows knocking against my windows trying to get in. Each part they knocked at left a small opening where I could see the outside world just a little bit more. They knocked until they were covered in blood and the windows were visible again. Once they noticed they can see me clearly, they all began to stare at me, and I stared back. The woman was now standing in front of the car, but a small distance away. I felt my car shift gears and began moving on its own towards the woman. I couldn't stop it or control it. It gained enough speed and I was heading straight towards the woman, with crows keeping their balance, staring at me in my eyes as I was preparing to run over this woman. I couldn't believe what was about to happen. For the first time in my life, I was not in control of my actions. It's like something took over me. I ended up hitting the woman and killing her immediately. It was a loud crash when I did it. The crows didn't seem to budge. They then began to peck at my windows to break in. The glass was shattering quickly and I knew it was only moments before I saw my time coming. There was only one thing I could do in this moment, so I prayed. When the crows finally got in, the glass from the front window and driver came crashing in my face. I woke up in my backyard. I woke up feeling very different. There wasn't a million things in my mind, and it felt like a big weight had been lifted off my shoulders. My wife is playing with the kids and seemed very normal. I didn't check my accounts because that's where the real trouble lied. When I checked my accounts, the balance were almost clear. They were regular and not maxed out. I'm unsure of what happened, or if what happened at all, but something good must have happened. I didn't complain much. I enjoyed the moment. I went outside to my car to run some errands. This is when it all came back to me. My car was taped up and the windows were still out. Dents and scratches from the bird's penetration. I then looked at my hands and it was like I never washed my hands at all. Still covered in blood and severe wounds. At my home, I noticed a dead girl's body was in my backyard. I immediately called 911 and explained to them what happened. They took me in as a suspect and questioned me, and I spent the night in jail. But for some reason, I really wasn't in jail. All of my thoughts were very visual. I ended up thinking my way out of jail and back into my home. This is when I realized something. Everything I truly thought about manifested into itself before my eyes. Nothing was real anymore. I was in full control. This is when everything began to change for me and a new beginning occurred. I went to the bank to do a double check on my account status. "Hi, my name is Bryce Ryder," I said. They got into my bank account and updated me with all the charges. Seems as though my debt had been cleared and I was in the green. I was speechless, and I couldn't believe it. Till this day, I couldn't explain the events that took place during the eclipse, but I must say things definitely got weird. Really weird. But hey, a lot of blessings came out of it, and for that, I was thankful.